Hello, my name is Rodney Sutton, and I'm going to share a little bit of dancing with you and see if I can teach you how to become a drummer to traditional old-time fiddle and banjo music. So you will be keeping time with the music with your feet. You'll be making the drumming sounds with your feet, and if you have a nice pair of old leather bottom shoes with a leather heel on them, that's the best thing to wear. But you can do this kind of dancing in any kind of shoe, especially when you get started, just getting used to communicating with your feet. So I'm going to give you an idea of some ways to do just that, so that when I ask you to move from one side to the other or stand on one foot or the other, you can do it. So take your right foot and point your right toe out and make your leg as long and straight as you can. Now pull it back up and point it to the ceiling. Push it back out straight, pull it back and point it up, and shake your ankle and your knee loose. Do the same thing with your left toe. Stick it out, make your leg straight, pull it back, point it back, pull it back towards your knee, shake it loose. This time you're going to do something a little bit more with your toe. You're going to point it up to the ceiling, you're going to point it to the right, down, up, and circle, keeping your heel close to the floor, and circle to the right. Now you're going to reverse and circle back to the left. And then once again, shake your ankle and your knee loose. Put your right foot down, point your left toe up, make a circle. Draw a circle with your toe, keeping your heel close to the floor, reverse it back the other way, and shake it loose. Alrighty, so dancing to the music is really what this is all about. And I'm going to ask you to give a little try to something here. We're going to do what I call rhythms of 8. And so all you got to do is balance your knees in time with the music, and then you'll repeat a couple of things I'm going to ask you to do, one first on your right and then on your left, and you'll see just how easy it is. Here's a little bit of music. So you start out by bending your knees and bounce. Just bounce, stand on both feet flat. 5, 6, and count and clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and bounce. 5, 6, put your right toe out and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down on 8, and bounce 2. And your left toe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down on 8, and bounce. 5, 6, put your right toe and back. And down on 8 and bounce. 5, 6, your left toe and back. And down on 8 and bounce. Now raise up on your toes and drop your heels. 1, 2, bounce again. Right back on your heels and drop your toes. And bounce. Now see if you can do this with me. See if you can walk in time with the music. You're just going to pick your knees up and put your feet down like you're kind of marching in place. And here's your count. 5, 6, and step on the beat. Step, 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 step. And bounce. 5, 6, and step on the beat. Step, 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 step. And bounce. 5, 6, and step on the beat. Every time you put your foot down, you're going to lift up and pull back. You're just walking in place. And bounce. 5, 6, and step on the beat. 5, 6, and pull back. 15 cross over. All right, now you can use this as a little warm up, and I would suggest doing it every time you get ready to start trying some of these other things. So I'm going to pause this and make it in little different parcels, and so it'll be about 5 minutes in each one of these little instructional teaching videos. So here is another little segment of these dance instructional videos, and I'm going to jump ahead in time. Flat footing and buck dancing are two older forms of percussive dance from the mountains, and a more modern form of this style of dance is called clogging. But I can teach you beginning basic clogging step that will help you when you start trying to do the flat footing and the buck dancing. So to begin with, we're going to go back. I'm going to face the other way again so that your legs will match up with mine. And so what's going to happen is you need to get used to shifting your weight from one side to the other. So if you're bending your knees on the beat of the music, you're going and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So you're bending your knees on the number. And so, and then after you say 8 at the end, the first thing that'll happen is you'll kick your right foot out to get started with this little sequence. But to begin with, what you're going to do is, without worrying too much, you're just going to take your right foot and you're going to point your right foot out and you're going to go kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step. So every time I use the word step in here, I'm referring to you putting your foot down flat on the floor and slightly bending your knee. So it makes you go up, down, but you don't have to think about it. When you kick your foot out, that'll make you go up because you're straightening that other leg. So you just get used to shifting your weight from one side to the other. Now, instead of just stepping every time, this time you're going to go kick, step, step, step. So starting with your right foot, and you're just going to kick your right foot out and go kick, step, step, step. Then your left foot, kick, step, step, step. And you just switch back and forth from one side to the other. So try that with me. We'll get started by counting to the 8. I'm just going to leave out the first 4 numbers and just go from 5 to 8. And so you're bending your knees. And after I say 8, the next thing that's going to happen is when you will kick your right foot out to start the sequence of step, step, step. So it's and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Kick, step, step, step. Kick, step, step, step. Step, step, step. Kick, step, step, step. Kick, step, step, step. Step, step, step. And step, step, step. Kick, step, step, step. Alrighty? So you want to be able to go from one side to the other like that. And you don't have to do it exactly like me, but in order to make it fit to the music, you'll see that that's what's going to be the best approach. And so I'm going to put on a really kind of a slow fiddle tune here. And, well, let's see. Yeah, we'll dance to that old cluck old hen. Let's see what this looks like. That ain't it. Here we go. All right. See if you can keep up with me doing this. First thing you do is bend your knees and bounce. Bounce, bounce. And you're going to start with your right foot. And here's how it counts. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Kick, step, step, step. Step, step, step. Kick right, left, right. Left, right, left. Kick right, left, right. Kick left, right, left. And step, step, step. Your upper body, you just want to be nice and loose. Just kind of let your arms dangle. Don't be dancing all stiff. Be relaxed as you can. Get back and bounce with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and kick with the right. Kick, step, 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 step. Now that's a little pattern you want to be doing. Doesn't sound very much like a flat footing or clogging step, because when you're kicking your foot out and not making any sound, you want to start figuring out how to make 2 sounds there. It's called a shuffle. Go back and bounce, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Just try it one time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and kick with the right. Kick, step, 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 kick, step. Now see if you can make 2 sounds when you kick your foot out. All right. Now, if we were in a regular workshop or a regular class, I wouldn't be going as fast as I am with these videos. But the trick is you'll be able to stop them and back them up and practice some of these things, and then give it another go after you have a chance to rewind it. And so I don't have to keep repeating everything right here. But I do want to show you something about that. Some people call that two sounds that you're making. When I said a shuffle, tap dancers and a lot of the modern cloggers call that a double toe, because you're making two sounds with the ball and toe of your foot. And so I'm going to stand to the side, and you can see how I'm not reaching way out. It's just right underneath where my knee's bent here. It goes down and it goes out back. I'm never bringing my foot way back here. And you want to make sure you don't get in any kind of a bad habit of doing that, because if you start bringing your foot way back here, you have so much distance to travel before you can make the sound out front. When the music speeds up and plays at a normal tempo, you won't be able to cover that much distance. So keep your feet either right underneath you or just a little bit out in front of you. Okay? So your knees going down and up, and your ankle's just kind of hanging there. And your knees just going down and up. And when you go down, it touches the floor, your toe touches the floor. And when you come up, you kind of pop your toe back. And you flick it out. It's a flicking motion. Just a little flicking motion out and back. Same thing with your left foot. You got to do the same thing. Your knee is your hinge, and you just put your leg down, and your foot is right in front of the other one, and you touch the floor, and then when you pull it back, you make a second sound. So it's a kind of little flicking motion. Flick, flick. It's a double toe. Shuffle, shuffle. It takes a while to do it. And the trickiest part is getting your weight down on that foot that you just shuffled with. And in all the years I've been teaching these workshops, that's the trickiest part for most people. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you just make believe you got a hinge here, as I said, and you're keeping your foot out in front of the other one, and you're swinging your foot back and forth with your toe just dangling down until it starts to hit the floor. Out, back, out, back, out, back. Put it down. Try that with your left foot. Your knee is the hinge, your toes just hanging down until you start to go down and start making the floor. Out, back, out, back, out, back, out, back. Now, what you need to do is when you do that two sounds, that out, back, you need to immediately step down on your foot that you've just shuffled with. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go out, back, step, out, back, step, out, back, step. And when you're stepping, that's when your weight changes, and you got to bend your knee and go down. Out, back, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, step, out, back, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, step. So the rhythm and the timing doesn't stay out, back, step. It doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those two sounds, the shuffle come right together. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Out, back, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop. And you want to rehearse this and practice it enough so that this becomes really second nature to you. You can get your foot down immediately when you do that shuffle. You don't have time to go shuffle and then pick your foot up and put it down. You are already transferring your weight to the other side after you do your shuffle. So once again, let's do it in the framework of the count of the music. And so what's going to happen is you're going to just do that single steps, and it goes like this. And 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Shuffle, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, step, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop, shuffle, drop, shuffle, step, shuffle, step. Now, let's see if we can put that in to what we did a while ago when we went shuffle, step, step, step. And put those other two little quick beats in there, those two little other steps. So start with your right foot. Your count will be like this. And 5 and 6 and 7, just kick. Kick, step, toe, step, kick, step, 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 kick, step, step, step. Now see if you can shuffle. Shuffle, step, 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 shuffle, step, 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 shuffle, step, 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 shuffle, step, step, step. And a right, and a left, and the left. So you want to make your sounds as crisp and clear as you can so that you can hear all of them. And you want to work on this enough so that you can do it without really having to think about it. But that's going to take a while. So I'll get back here and we'll try something else. So there are two really important dancers in the Boone area in Watauga County. They both have passed on, but they had a big influence on me and a lot of other dancers back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And the oldest one of those dancers was named Willard Watson, who was over in Deep Gap. And Willard was an old time, he called his dancing smooth style flat footing. And then the other dancer on the other side of Boone over near Sugar Grove was Robert Dotson. And Robert always insisted that he was a flat foot dancer. He never did any clogging steps, neither one of them. Neither one of them ever counted what they were doing. They would just hear the music and start reacting to it. And so there was a way of learning back until the 80s and 90s. The only way people learned this was to go to a dance with their neighbors and with their family on Saturday nights when there would be live music, and you just got out on the floor and danced with them and tried to mimic what they were doing, trying to imitate what they were doing. And so a lot of people would say that that's the monkey see. That's what Willard would say. That's the monkey see, monkey do method of learning. And that was the way that a lot of folk arts were taught, and learning to play traditional music was taught that way too. But the clogging step that I shared with you earlier is, like I said, it's easier to teach because no flat footers, hardly any of them dance the same. They all had their own style. So I'm going to show you a few things that'll help you do a little bit of this flat footing I'm talking about. Now, flat footing, a lot of times both Robert and Willard would use their heels a lot in the sounds. And so there's this thing called a chug, or a drag slide is what the modern cloggers call it. And you slide forward with both feet and hit both heels and bend your knees slightly. And then when you straighten your legs back up, you can strike your toes on the way back. So if you just go forward, back, go forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Both feet just going forward and back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And with just the slightest little variation and change in how hard you hit your heels or your toes, you can actually imitate the sound of a train by doing these chugs. It sounds like this. So there's all little kinds of tricks, and it's very subtle. You really will have to work on some of these, but that chug, you can get out and chug the music. No matter if you can't do a flat footing step or a clogging step, you can always get out there and chug. Now, a lot of those old flat foot dancers, older people that grew up without learning clogging, sometimes they would just be chugging, and then they would just pick one foot up and then change to the other one and just chug on one leg. And then if you put that shuffle in there on one side while you're chugging on the other, then you can do little things like this. Shuffle, chug, 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 shuffle, chug. And so that'll help you free you up to be able to start moving around on the floor some, because you don't want to just stand still when you're dancing. So if you do that, we actually did a step at the very beginning of a step that Robert Dotson has become really famous for. It's called the walking step. In that very first segment, we did a little bit of it when we were stepping in time with the music like we were marching, and then pulling our foot back. Step, pull, step, pull, step, pull, step, pull. And this is another thing that you can do when you're crossing around, and then all of a sudden go into some chugs. And you can do anything you want. You're not trying to match anybody else. You're not on a clogging team. You're not trying to do any kind of precision style of steps. It's very free form. Willard had a little easy step. He had a whole sequence of steps he called the barnyard steps. And one of Willard's steps that the Greengrass Cloggers and other dance teams have passed on is called walk the hill. Now, it's not talking about walking up a hill. It's talking about walking on the heels of your feet, of your shoes. And so this is a little simple little step. You're going to go on your right heel and then your left heel. So you're going to go heel, heel. All right? And then you back up and go right toe, left toe. So it's heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. And so, again, it's not even like that. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, heel, toe, toe. So the step will look more like this. Heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. Now, Willard Watson was a tall, old, lanky fella. Looked just like any old mountain man you could imagine. Used to wear a little derby all the time. Always had a big old thick mustache. Quite the character, known for his storytelling and for his wood carvings, his toys that he made. Great storyteller. And so we took some of Willard's barnyard steps, and so that walk the hill, he had another little thing he would do where he would just kind of scoot across the floor. And I'm going to lose the distance on this that I need to do. But we call it walk the hill into a barnyard slide. That's what Willard would do. He listened to the music to get started. All of a sudden, he'd go up on his heels and he'd go heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. And then he would just kind of scoot across the floor. And then maybe he would do it again. He didn't do it on any particular order. He could do it anytime he wanted. So another very famous step, Willard Watson's walk the hill into the barnyard slide.